The biggest thing that will impact you when you're young, when you start to make a decent amount of money and you start to see some relative degree of success, is letting your ego get out of control, which is what happens to most people. You start to buy all the fancy stuff, you start to do all the things that you wanted to do before you had anything. But more importantly, you stop doing the things that got you to where you were. An example of this is I have a marketing company where we help the largest business owners online grow all of their organic media, build the back end systems to funnel into their business, and then add additional monetary streams to them. But everything is reliant upon one thing. Do you get them more organic views? That is the limiting factor because without views, you have no customers. Therefore, you have to be the best in the world at getting views. And if you're not, the entire business model falls apart. So I used to spend a few hours per day, regardless of the time that I would spend running my business, studying how to get better at getting attracting more organic views, which I would do in a multitude of avenues. The problem is I hired someone to do it and they were doing a lot of the outreach stuff, but they're not going to be studying the same way that I do. And I'm still the one that needs to innovate and figure out ways to get better because that is my main skill set at the end of the day. And so it's also a time constraint when you start to grow the business. I mean, right now, there's just so many other avenues. Today, I had mandatory meetings from 8:30 to like 6 p.m. And then I couldn't even start other work until it's 8:30 p.m. right now. And I just finished, and I'm not even close to doing what I need to fully get done for today to work on higher leverage activities. I'm not even close. I would have another like 3 to 4 hours of deep focused work that I would need to get done right now. I'm not going to do it right now because tomorrow I have a pretty clear schedule. Mondays are my busiest day in terms of meetings, in terms of getting shit handled. So tomorrow I'll have a lot more time. But to get to where I am and to maintain everything, you still have to be the best in the world at one thing, especially for the sponsorship company. So I said that there are other ways that we help a lot of the people I work with monetize their audience. And that would be through sponsors, which are willing to pay egregious amounts of money when you're doing 4 million plus long form organic views on YouTube per month, especially in a business finance niche. That's worth over $100,000 per month, which is substantial revenue for me. But the only reason why they're willing to pay that is because you're getting that much traffic. And so you have to maintain that traffic. And if you don't, then you're fucked. An example is one of my clients right now, we're doing a lot of things for them. We're adding a lot of things, but we're getting less organic monthly views. And even though we can still drive a lot of revenue, we just actually closed a deal for an extra high 5 figures per month, which is good. But to maintain this and to roll that into a 6 figure monthly contract and to fulfill everything else that we want to do, the one limiting constraint is getting more views. And so, me studying, but also being around people that want to study and that are not okay being average and adequate is what I really need to do because I would really like to have someone that was the best in the world or wanted to be the best in the world at knowing how to turn this warm traffic into closed deals. That would be both for the sponsorship company, helping these sponsors get better results. That would be good. And for the clients that aren't taking on sponsors but are more focused on running their business, helping them close more deals, more customers. That's what we need. That would be ideal because you can really only focus and be the best at one thing. And when where your hyper focused tunnel vision lies, you need people around you that can fill in the voids everywhere else. And so we're trying to create a team of people that can do everything right now. But when everyone's just starting out, it's tough. And making sure that everyone is level headed and not letting the ego get the best of them, that's really important. Really, really important that if you see a monetary success, that is not the sign to say that I'm the best. It is the time to double down and get much better because if we were the best, then we would be making billions of dollars. It's as simple as that. I would rate my current skill set probably a 7. It's enough to make a ton of money. I would say that most people in this are like a 2. But if we were a 9, I would be making tens of millions of dollars per month, guaranteed. So that just means the only thing that is preventing me from making drastically more money is my lack of understanding of the main constraint, which is if we were driving these businesses tens of millions of views per month, which is possible, and then replicating that and getting hundreds of millions of views per month for myself, that would relate to a ridiculous amount of money. But that doesn't happen. Therefore, you have to figure out why. And that's just a knowledge gap, which takes a lot of time and effort to learn that you're not going to learn in a year or two of starting out. No one's on earth has ever figured everything out in 2 years of starting. It doesn't happen, which is why no one that starts business ever makes a lot of money their first few years, because you don't actually know that much. And when you think you do, that's when you get fucked. I mean, it really is. That's what happened. Every single one of my clients, or not every single one, but quite a few that have made vast fortunes, because I'm really, really good friends with all of them, have lost everything at one point. And all of them said the one common denominator is their ego got out of control. And they didn't correlate their success with market forces and any degree of luck. It was all because they were a super genius, which is never the case. I mean, ever. And when you think that you're the genius and anything you touch turns to gold, that's like right when everything goes wrong. I mean, I've seen this playbook. It literally never ends well. And so I do not want to do that. I don't want the people I care about to do that. And so just trying to make wiser decisions, which is another reason why I want to buy an apartment complex before this year ends. One, Trump did just announce a new tax law that is going to give increased bonus depreciation back up to 100%, which all this mumbo jumbo tax talk that I talk about freaking like 30% of my videos because it's so important to understand means you can write off a higher percentage of the buildings that you're doing and for equipment and for everything. That means you can pay less taxes, and it's a lot of opportunity in that sense. This bill hasn't been passed yet, but it looks like it will get passed, especially by summer. And when I'm looking to buy like a 15 to 25 unit building, I would buy something bigger if we could. It's just all going to be dependent on the deal. That would allow me to not pay taxes this calendar year and start to build long-term wealth, which is the real objective, is build long-term wealth. And I would be doing this and partnering up with my buddy who has done this before, because I do not want to be in the business of real estate. I want to be in the business of collecting checks. And this guy, I'm completely willing to give a good split, because I know that we would be putting in pretty equal amounts of money. We would both be raising money and figuring it out together, but he already owns a lot of property. And so just having like a 50-50 partner like that, where they have some experience and you can provide a lot of capital, that's the ideal outcome. And it's someone that I would literally trust with my life, which is more important. Is finding good people are the hardest thing, I mean, in every avenue. And building wealth with your home base is just sick. So, I mean, ideally, we buy a decent sized property that's going to, one, allow us to not pay taxes, two, build long-term cash flow to where you have that safety net. And then three, fucking don't let your ego get out of control. It will never be beneficial. And this is something that I need to do, is do the things that got me to the place to where I was. It's easy to get lackadaisical, but you got to where you were, at least I have, by doing certain things. And if I no longer do those things, it's very easy to stop being the best at what you do. And that's what happens to most businesses, because you don't adapt. Fortunately, I'm young and have time on my side. And I, unfortunately, have to get back to work at 9 p.m. right now.